He is part of one of the oldest farming communities known to mankind, cultivating land along the River Nile. But Atif Shouki says his patch of fertile ground no longer turns a profit. For over 2 years, political unrest and violence in Egypt has caused the economy to spiral into crisis. Fuel prices have spiked and imports are becoming more expensive. Farmers here say their costs in fertilizer, seed and fuel are rising, squeezing already tiny profit margins to nothing.
If I have an acre to grow wheat, it uses 2 bags of seeds. Each one costs £200. It needs 3 or 4 applications of fertilizer. It needs labor. If you count all of this, it will cost more than the land produce. I might have to put more of my money from household into it.
For over 50 years, Egyptians have suffered changeable and failed farming policies by various dictatorial governments. Attempts to make the country more self-sufficient have failed, making Egypt the world's biggest importer of wheat. Maruf Farouk rents land from the government. He survived rent increases under the deposed Mubarak regime, but says increases under the more recently deposed Morsi government were even worse.
This year, instead of charging £625, they increased it to £2,000 per acre. We owe them £3,000, and our rights to the land are now frozen, and we don't have the money to pay.
This is the worst hardship he and his neighbours can remember. So many are selling up, and illegal construction on precious farming land is skyrocketing. Locals say these buildings were built illegally. Usually, local authorities would knock them down, but law and order in Egypt has dramatically reduced since the revolution. Atif, however, says he would never sell his land, no matter how hard things get.
No, it's not honorable to sell your land, even if it is losing money. We will pass it on to our children. We inherited this land. We did not buy it ourselves. Whatever government replaces Mohammed Morsi's will inherit all sorts of problems.
Whatever government replaces Mohammed Morsi's will inherit all sorts of problems, not least the economic challenge of keeping prices under control, protecting rural communities and keeping Egypt fed. Al Jazeera, Minya, Egypt.